Hi there, it's Mrs. Galata and Mrs. Englade, and we're here tonight to talk about prime and composite numbers. Now, in my class, we've been doing at teacher table the different arrays that the hungry ants can be marching to the picnic, right? And so you talked about it a little bit. You got to read the story and things like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make sure you have out the handouts that we gave you, and you're about to see the slides that are on your handouts. So the first one that I have for you are all the different arrays for the different numbers 1 through 20. Okay, so your class probably hasn't gotten to this, but my class has. And so you might want to just go ahead and write down that a 1 by 1 is the number 1, this number is the number 2 and 3, and so on. So if you need to pause the video right now, I should have done this before I gave you the handout, so I'm so sorry. But go ahead and number these. They go right in order. This will have the numbers, I think, up through 14 on them, and then do the next slide as well. So they should go all the way up through 20. So that's what I want you to do right now. Pause the video because I'm going to do the same thing. So make sure and pause it so that you can be up with me when I start again. Okay guys, so what I have done is I've gone all the way up through 20. If I said 24 earlier, you know, I was wrong. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at these arrays 1 through 20, and I want you to see if you can notice something about these arrays, the way that the ants can walk to the picnic, right? So Mrs. Galata, what do you see? I see something about the number 1. What is strange about the number 1 that is like I don't see in the other ones?
There's only one way. Only one.
Oh. And the rest of these have at least 2 or more, right? So one's kind of an odd man out.
Kind of an odd one.
Okay, so you notice that some of these, Mrs. Galata, I noticed that like the numbers 2 and 3 and 5 and 7,
11,
and 13. What do those have? Is there something that you noticed? Because I noticed something.
There's only 2 ways for them to, if they were ants, to walk.
Oh, so only 2 ways to walk. And then like the numbers 4 and 6 and 8 and 9, they all have more than one way.
Right.
Do you know we have a math term that we call that when numbers are either they're something or something, and that's the title of the video today. Which one do you think it is? 2, 3, 5, and 7. What do you think we call those? Prime or composite?
Prime.
They are prime. They are prime. Okay. And so of course, if the number's not prime, it's probably going to be
Composite.
okay. So the definition of the word prime would be that a number only has
2 factors.
Yeah, 2 factors. I think so too. 2 factors, and then if the number has more than 2 factors, it's
Composite.
Composite. All right. So what I want you to do right now, first of all, let's write it down because some people might need to see it visually because that's what we just said. So I want you to write down a number is blank when it only has blank factors. The word here, key word here is only. Okay. So, what do you think, Mrs. Now, do it out there in virtual world. Do it right now. What word do you think goes in here? I think it's prime. Yep, because it's only going to have 2 factors, right? Oops. It's only going to have 2 factors. When you go back and look at all of those arrangements that only had the one big long one and the one going the other way, we call that number prime. So we're going to wait to do some examples. Okay. So then a number is composite. Composite. Let's see if I can spell that. When the update on this one where it didn't work very well. Okay, when it boys and girls, I did a copy and paste this morning on this, so I want you to cross off only. Okay, so we want to say when it has, what do you think goes in there?
More than.
More than. You're so good. Mrs. Galata did not know the answers to this, so this was kind of a quiz for her, so she got it. When it has more than 2 factors. So what I want you to do right now, pause the video, I want you to go through, with the exception of the number 1, I want you to go through either color or whatever it is, but I want you to label every one of these other 19 numbers. I want you to label it whether it is prime or composite. Okay, so put a P or a C. So do that right now. Remember, it's prime when it only has 2 arrangements, like the number 2. Do you see it only has one, this going this way and one going this way? So like the number 3 would be prime and so on. I want you to go through and I want you to see if you can do it without my help. Okay, pause it. Come on. I know you need to pause it. Are you still watching this video? Pause it. Okay, it's not. All right, guys, we're back with the answers. I think what we counted was that there were 8 primes, and that, let's see, 19 minus 8, there would be 11 composites. So I decided that it was prime when it had only 2 arrangements, 2 factors. If you remember at teacher table, I told some groups today that it was really important to put both the long and the going across this way and, going down the other way.
Horizontal and vertical.
Right, horizontal and vertical, because I said we wanted to see whether a number was prime or not. And so when it only had 2 arrangements, when it had more, see, 4 only has like 3 arrangements. It has an odd number because it makes a square. It only has a 2 by 2, right? So let's talk about 1 for a minute, okay? So we've decided that 1 is just really odd because it's only just an odd man out. Maybe that's why they call him an odd man out, right? Because he doesn't have 2 arrangements. He only has just 1. So he has a special name, actually. He has a name that we call unit number, okay? And so, Mrs. Galata, do you want to explain what a unit number is?
Well, a unit number is used in every other factor. So all the factors have 1 as one of their factors.
That's right, yeah.
So it's a unit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not prime or composite.
Yeah, and so I tell my kids, I said that 1 is so busy doing its own special job that it doesn't have time to be prime or composite. It's so busy being a factor of every other number, right? A 1 by 2, a 1 by 3, a 1 by 4. 1 is always the factor of every other number. And so that's kind of the lesson on prime and composite today. Can you think of anything else we need to talk about? They will ask that on STARS test, boys and girls. They will have like pictures of arrays like this, and they will ask you, what does this array show? Does it show, a prime, composite, an even? And so you need to know what these arrays look like.
They need to go back to that last paper that you had and put some examples. Remember you had blanks in there for prime and composite?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, most definitely. See if you can do it without looking. So like prime numbers. So I'm going to think of numbers like the number 2. The number 2 only had, yep, I'm going to keep it in blue.
5.
5, yep. I'm going to think, you know what, like 13. 13 is like a weird number, isn't it? 13. 19, yeah. Now, do all numbers that end in 9? No, not all numbers that end in 9. Like 49, 9, they do. So not all, and some of you might think that all odd numbers are prime. Is that true? All odd numbers are prime? No, because like think about the number 9.
But all even numbers are composite.
Are composite with the exception of the number 2. That's right. So all even numbers are composite. Why?
Because 2 goes into it.
Oh, because
I divide it in half.
Going back to last night's video. Yep. That's so cool. Okay, so some examples of a composite number. Oh gosh, this is probably a little bit easier, right? So like I could list any even number.
Right.
That except 2. Except 2, yeah.
And you can 9.
Oh, 9. I'll put some odd numbers in here, yeah. So like 15.
Yep.
15. I'll do some even numbers too because they're easier. 12.
20.
20. Yeah. So I just did up through 20. I know my classes at my teacher table did up through 32. And I will put that picture up on the Learning Hub so you can see those pictures and you can see how that works. But that's all prime and composite is, boys and girls. I know in my class I said, oh, let's go with a prime number. Oh, the number 11. And the kids were asking me, what do you mean, Mrs. Anglade? I said, you'll learn that. Okay. So I think we're finished for today. It was a short video today, boys and girls. And so if I ask you about a number, prime and composite, you never know. I might put a quiz. I might put a quiz up on the Learning Hub tomorrow, and it might be all about prime and composite. So I hope you're ready. What if, I'll give you one last question. What if I gave you the numbers 2, I don't know what is wrong with this pen, 2, the number 6, the number 5, and the number 11, and I ask which number does not belong? And that's all I say. Which number does not belong? Because they do that on the STARS test, don't they? Or even on the CBA. Which number does not belong? I'd probably say 6.
Yep. It's 6.
Do you know out there in virtual world why it's 6? Because that's the only number that's not prime. Yep. Okay, we're going to go for today, boys and girls. So we will see you tomorrow.